let's focus on something every investor, foreign or Indian, should equip themselves with before launching into business in India: the right team of advisors. Do you engage a separate advisor for each of these roles, or are there options for one advisory team that does all the actions above? As a foreign investor entering the market, we would recommend engaging separate advisors for each domain of specialization. Ultimately, the endeavor should be to find a trusted advisor who can then direct the ship accordingly as you sail the choppy regulatory waters in India. Having the right advisors is half the battle. The other half comes from reliable local teams and partners. Hello and welcome back to the Veyrah Law video series. In our last episode, we discussed the types of legal structures for foreign investors. Today, let's focus on something every investor, foreign or Indian, should equip themselves with before launching into business in India: the right team of advisors. Think of your advisors as an insurance policy. There is a cost associated, but it can save you from far bigger risks, losses, or compliance pitfalls. But what is the right team for the Indian market? How do you source this network? Let's try and figure these out in this episode. My name is Ajay Joseph. I'm a partner at Veyrah Law, Mumbai. You can find more information about me and us on our website in the link provided below. Before we start, a few reminders from our disclaimers. These videos are only for information purpose and should not be considered as advertisements or solicitation. Always consult your own advisors before making any decisions. And once again, read the full disclaimer, please. With that out of the way, let's move on to our topic for the day. Now that we have set the context, let us look at the key advisors every business should have and the roles they play. As we discussed in our earlier episodes, India is a complex regulatory environment. Multiple laws, sectoral rules, constant policy changes. That is why the right advisory team is crucial. As the saying goes, if you don't invest in the right people, you'll pay for it later. Based on our experience, here is our list of the key advisors that every foreign business should onboard for their India operations. First on the list is the corporate advisory lawyer. They should ideally be your first point of contact to get guidance on India's exchange control laws for inbound investments, sector-specific regulations, and to ensure your structure is compliant from day one. You should also onboard a tax advisor. Going hand in hand with your corporate legal advisor is the tax advisor, another key member of the advisory team, especially for foreign investors, to assist with inbound tax structuring. This helps ensure your investments are designed efficiently. This role is often filled by an international tax consultant working with local legal advisors. The primary goal should be to keep the structure tax efficient and minimize exposure to double taxation and unnecessary liabilities. Then comes the company secretary, another important professional to onboard. They assist with all compliances required to set up and maintain a corporate entity in India. They handle incorporation, statutory filings, and ensure that the company remains fully compliant with corporate laws and regulations. Once the initial corporate structure is set up, certain other advisors come into play. The all-important chartered accountant, or CAs, as they are fondly known across the Indian landscape. They manage accounting and day-to-day tax compliance. They ensure that financials are prepared and statutory tax obligations and compliances are met. An important advisor to get right in an Indian context. Tax compliance can be tricky and non-compliance an expensive affair. One cannot overstate the importance of a good chartered accountant. Next, you may need consultants for other approvals, for payroll, local approvals, environmental clearances, or industry-specific licenses. Last but certainly not the least, litigation lawyer. They help plan ahead, anticipate disputes, build strong legal positions, and step in efficiently if litigation arises. Consider them as the consulting surgeon and surgeon that saves you in an emergency. Now that we have identified the key advisors, The next question is, how do you choose the right ones? Do you engage a separate advisor for each of these roles, or are there options for one advisory team that does all the actions above? How do costs play out for these advisors? To understand why these advisory roles exist today and why they have become specialized, let's take a quick step back. A few decades ago, lawyers and chartered accountants handled almost everything: contracts, legal advice, company filings. But as India's economy opened up from 1991, regulations became more complex. Compliance now involves company law, taxation, accounting standards, and cross-border rules. Naturally, specialization emerged. Today, we have dedicated professionals, company secretaries. They focus on regulatory and corporate compliance. Chartered accountants manage taxation and financial reporting. Lawyers handle structuring, documentation, and dispute resolution. There are large firms that would offer the entire gamut of legal and compliance services under one roof. But generally, while law firms may engage company secretaries within their organization and provide comprehensive legal and compliance services, they would not provide financial and accounting services. On the other side, accountancy firms would provide the full range of financial, tax accountancy, and audit services, but would not venture into providing legal services. This is because the rules governing both these practices require that only qualified lawyers can provide legal advice, and qualified chartered accountants are only allowed to certify accounts. A company secretary is a separate qualification that allows these professionals to certify certain compliances under Indian company law. That said, in practice, many professionals cross-function. It is not uncommon for accountancy firms and company secretarial practices to offer legal services, under the radar, of course. That is, they would assist in preparing legal documents, contracts, and provide some general legal advice. While this may not be advisable for businesses, it is a trend in India for most mid-sized and smaller businesses to rely on their chartered accountant for most of their legal requirements. Some reasons for this could be cost savings, and possibly because most of such day-to-day contracts or advice would never get tested in a court. And even if they do reach courts, they would most likely never be subjected to final determination because of the judicial delay in the legal systems. We have discussed this issue in great detail in one of our previous episodes. Of course, our view is not meant to discredit any professional offering legal advice. There are some very competent company secretaries, chartered accountants, and tax advisors who are well versed in many other domains of law, some of whom we work with very closely. That said, once something does run into trouble, all other professionals will normally direct clients to dispute lawyers. Disputes in court litigation is one domain which is predominantly still manned by qualified and licensed lawyers. Although for certain types of compliance disputes and tax disputes, company secretaries and chartered accountants are allowed to appear before quasi-judicial forums, like the registrar of companies and income tax offices. Apart from these limited areas, the domain of disputes and appearance before judicial authorities are mostly handled by lawyers. Now that we have seen how these roles play out in practice, let's understand how to engage the right advisors. As Richard Branson aptly worded it, a successful business requires both vision and the right team to execute it. First and foremost, budget and plan carefully. Advisors cost money, but think of it as an investment. Engage specialized teams. As a foreign investor entering the market, we would recommend engaging separate advisors for each domain of specialization. This is what is safe and allows each professional to offer the best advice in their domain of expertise. There are large firms and also specialized boutique firms in each domain. Next is how to source your advisors. Consult with industry chambers. Speak to contacts from your home jurisdiction who have done business in India for references. Check industry rankings or research the internet for references. Or more recently, maybe query an LLM like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Grok to give suggestions based on public information. These are all ways to source the initial team of advisors. But with most things, the right advisor for you would eventually require some trial and error. If the budget allows, opt for a full-service law firm that can manage all your legal requirements. This is a safe approach, and once you have established a presence in India, over time one can onboard specialist teams for accounts, audit, and other requirements. Alternatively, find a specialist corporate legal advisor or tax advisor. They would usually have reliable connects in the market who they can onboard for you as you continue to set up in India. Ultimately, the endeavor should be to find a trusted advisor who can then direct the ship accordingly as you sail the choppy regulatory waters in India. Another point is costs. In terms of costs, apart from lawyers, most other professionals generally offer fixed fee arrangements for defined assignments. While most law firms and lawyers would also provide fixed fee arrangements, many lawyers still retain the hourly billing model depending on the assignment at hand. These are some broad guidelines that should work for most businesses that look to enter the Indian market. Of course, if you're a large global MNC listed in your home markets, your requirements would be different and complex. Also, you would not need information from our videos. To wrap up, we have looked at the key advisors that most businesses need in India. Each role matters. Corporate lawyers, they structure and guide investments. Tax advisors, they ensure efficiency and compliance. Company secretaries, they manage regulatory obligations. The chartered accountant maintains accurate finances and tax compliance. Specialized consultants, they handle approvals and provide operational support. And last but not the least, litigation lawyers. They plan ahead and protect against disputes. Having the right advisors is half the battle. The other half comes from reliable local teams and partners. We hope this episode gives you a clearer picture of planning your entry, managing compliance, and operating efficiently in India. Thank you for watching. If you found this useful or think it could help others, please do share the video. Until the next episode, stay informed and stay prepared.